always been known for her meticulousness, a trait that had served her well in her career as an editor. Her apartment, a neat space in an old downtown building, was a testament to her organized mind. Everything had its place, every detail attended to. Yet, there was one corner of the apartment that had always intrigued her, a full-length mirror that had belonged to her grandmother. The mirror stood in the hallway, its ornate frame a stark contrast to the modern decor. Evelyn often found herself drawn to it, her gaze lingering as if expecting something to emerge from the glass. It was a beautiful relic, but lately it had begun to unsettle imperceptible changes. Evelyn would catch a glimpse of something shifting in the reflection, a shadow, a flicker of movement. She would turn, but the hallway was always empty. She chalked it up to exhaustion or a trick of the light, but the unease grew. One evening, after a particularly grueling day, Evelyn found herself staring into the mirror with a sense of unease. The reflection seemed different, somehow distorted. Her own face looked off-kilter, the eyes unnaturally large, the expression twisted into something unfamiliar. She blinked and rubbed her eyes, but the image persisted, a grotesque parody of herself. Her mind raced, but she dismissed it as stress. Yet, the mirror's effect on her was undeniable. Over the next few days, she began to experience a creeping paranoia. The reflection in the mirror seemed to mock her, its expression changing when she wasn't looking directly at it. Evelyn would often find herself avoiding the hallway, the mirror's presence a constant source. One night, unable to sleep, Evelyn found herself drawn to the mirror again. As she approached it, the reflection seemed to shift with a will of its own. The face in the glass was not hers, but someone else's, an unfamiliar woman with hollow eyes and a knowing grin. Desperate for answers, Evelyn researched the mirror's history. She discovered that her grandmother had been obsessed with it, convinced that it held a dark secret. The grandmother had died under mysterious circumstances, her mind unraveling in her later years. With growing dread, Evelyn realized that the mirror seemed to reflect not just the physical appearance, but the deepest fears and anxieties of those who gazed into it. It was as though the mirror fed on her terror, manifesting it into increasingly
answers. On a stormy night, Evelyn resolved to confront the mirror's sinister influence. She stood before it, demanding answers. The reflection in the glass seemed to come alive, the woman's twisted grin widening into a grotesque expression of pure malice. Evelyn felt a cold hand grip her shoulder, but when she turned, no one was there.
In a final act of defiance, Evelyn covered the mirror with a heavy blanket, hoping to banish the darkness it harbored. The oppressive atmosphere lifted somewhat, but she couldn't shake the feeling that the reflection was still watching her, waiting for the moment she would be vulnerable again. Remained hidden under the blanket, a silent sentinel in the hallway. Evelyn could never be sure if it was truly dormant or if it was simply biding its time, ready to exploit her deepest fears once more. She lived with a constant, gnawing unease, knowing that some reflections should never be fully examined. And so, Evelyn's life became a battle with her own psyche, haunted not by a physical presence, but by the dark, twisting reflections of her own mind.